Welcome. The digital service is just about to begin, but we also have physical church. So if you are local, I want to bring your attention to July 4th. We're going to have the Plymouth Brass that Sunday morning and tons of apple pie. So they'll be playing in the courtyard. Come and have a piece of pie. I would love to see you there.
Hi, we're here at Picnic with the Pastors, and we're just sitting down to eat, and we are enjoying this fabulous weather, and we hope to see you at the weekend services, and welcome to worship. Welcome to worship.
And Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid. Then, in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field."
About 15 months ago, because of the pandemic, we had to go to only digital worship. But now I preach both a digital service and physical services. And it's highlighted for me the different way I experience that. When I'm preaching in this pulpit in a live service, the togetherness of people gathered, it creates a collective effervescence. And I start to get kind of jacked up and I begin to become more animated and I raise my voice and I get so excited about the gospel, particularly in a live service. The gospel, it's about love and hope and joy and suffering and sacrifice and faith. I get really excited and I start moving my arms around and then I start looking like those airport workers that are parking 747s and I'm making all these motions. It's fun. I love that type of preaching. It's not theatrics. It's joy. But the digital service, it creates a different effect. I'm standing in the same pulpit, but there's something far more intimate about a digital service. I'm just talking, and I'm trying to talk to you, still conveying the gospel, and that gets me excited, but I don't need to raise my voice. You can hear me perfectly. I don't need to make large motions with my hands or my bodies because you're not 100 yards away in a sanctuary. We're together here. I think I become a little more reflective. And so this very short parable, it seems so evocative to me. This short parable, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid. Then in his joy, he went and sold all that he had and bought the field. This short little parable, I think it's trying to remind me that life itself is a treasure. Are you valuing life? Life is a treasure. Are you buying into it? Are you investing yourself in life? He went in great joy and bought the field. Are you taking purchase of life itself? Purchase in the dictionary, it means to obtain by labor, risk, or sacrifice. Are you taking purchase of life? Oh, this evocative little parable. It seems to contain the basic message of our religion. The Christian faith, the most basic message is that life is of value. Life is meaningful. Life has purpose. This little parable about a treasure, it's the message of our faith. I worry these days about a creeping nihilism that maybe more and more people don't fully sense that life matters that much, that life is really worthwhile, a creeping nihilism, a nihilism of low expectations, that nothing special is going to happen in life. What does it all really matter? But this little parable reminds us life is a treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid, and then in joy sold all they had and bought the field. I think this little parable is using the mythic power of the image of a buried treasure to remind us to look for the hidden treasures in life, to take hold of those. Perhaps the most basic hidden treasure in life is you. You are a buried treasure. Oh, do you see? You are beyond even your own ken. You are deeper and of greater sweep than you can even imagine. You are a buried treasure. One can spend a lifetime trying to come to fully know oneself. The great injunction of philosophy, know thyself. It's because you are so deep and ultimately unfathomable that you can spend a lifetime plumbing your own depths. You are a hidden treasure. In the ancient world, there was a place that pilgrims would seek out to gain wisdom. It was the great temple to the god Apollo in Delphi. Apollo, the god of light and wisdom. The temple at Delphi was a place for seekers, and they would come to its forecourt with the great colonnades, and inscribed on the temple was the maxim, know thyself. But not just that, there were 3 maxims in the forecourt on the building. It said, know thyself, nothing in excess, and surety brings ruin. We would do well to imagine ourselves always standing in the forecourt of Apollo's temple in Delphi and remember those maxims. Nothing in excess. Oh, the Aristotelian notion of the golden mean. Nothing in excess, all things in moderation. Surety brings ruin. Oh, these days, people are pretty sure of their opinions, pretty sure of their take on life, their philosophies. We would all do better to be less sure, more inquisitive. And then know thyself. Socrates took this as his maxim as well. Know thyself. This is the great philosophical task. For Socrates, wisdom isn't seeking knowledge outside of yourself. Wisdom is a recollection. It's you remembering what you already know. You just don't know it really. Wisdom is recollection. Even our English word education comes from the Latin root educare, which doesn't mean things being put in you. Educare means to have drawn out. A good education is drawing out from within yourself the wisdom you possess. You are the primary hidden treasure in life. For all time, people knew there are aspects of the human psyche that are beyond the consciousness, that you're not fully aware of your own depths, that there is part of the mind that is unconscious. Your motivations and intuitions and impulses can come from beyond conscious awareness. In modern times, it was Sigmund Freud that taught about the unconscious, and that the unconscious is, well, it's like an iceberg. Your conscious mind is the tip, but so much of you is beyond immediate awareness. You're the hidden treasure. Seek always to know yourself more fully, to understand yourself. You're a treasure. Oh, this little parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure buried in a field. Someone found it, buried it again, and then in his joy, he sold everything he had and bought that field. Buy into the basic treasures. The other most basic treasure in life is other people. Other people. They too are beyond your ken. Think of this treasured aspect. You could never know what it is to be like that other person. You will never know or experience what it's like to be them. They will always be a mystery to you, a buried treasure. So live with curiosity, seeking to know about those around you. You could never grasp them, but seek to discover that treasure. Because you don't know what it's like to be another person, you are constantly theorizing about their behavior. Oh, you'll form some interpretation about why they just did what they did. Here would be a wonderful way to treasure people. Try to give the best interpretation to someone's actions. Now, we do that with friends. We do that quite commonly. But we really should do it with everyone. first to give the best interpretation of their actions. So like when someone doesn't show up at a party that they told you they would come, you could jump to an interpretation that they don't really care about you, or they're not thinking of others. Or you could give it a more kindly interpretation, that maybe they're a little overwhelmed right now and needed some time alone. You always have to theorize about other people's actions. Try giving it the best interpretation. People usually have reasons for the ways they're acting. This little parable, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. A person finds it, buries it again, and then in joy goes and sells everything he has and buys the field. It's reminding me of the treasure that we have in our religion itself. Christianity is a treasure, but it can be a hidden treasure. It's of such depth and complexity. It can be a buried treasure. Don't ever forget the depth and the nuances that is in the historic faith. We're too quick to try to sum it up easily, but it's a buried treasure. You know, Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychiatrist, he thought that American religion was making a massive mistake. That American religion was falling into a dichotomy between people that were fundamentalists or wildly liberal, and that they both missed the depth of religion. You see, Carl Jung thought that religion speaks in symbols. And it's symbols that move the human psyche. In Jungian psychology, that's the only thing that could really transform you is symbols. It's the language of depth of the psyche. But that both fundamentalists and people wildly liberal lose track of the symbols. They get overly literal. So the fundamentalists just take the Bible and the religion on its literal plain level. And the liberals, they don't understand it's about symbols either, that they believe you have to unpack religion for a meaning that is basically philosophical or rational. Carl Jung thought religion is about symbolism, and that's deep and complex. It's a treasure. Paul Tillich, the great German theologian, thought that we were confusing language about religion, that we try to look for its plain, rational, or scientific meaning, but that religion doesn't use that type of language at all, that it's about symbolism. He took the one sentence, God has sent his Son, and he said both fundamentalists and liberals get so overly literal with a sentence like that, but it would become absurd if you took it on its plain level. God has sent his Son, has. That means, that speaks to our temporality, a time in the past, but there is no temporality like that for the eternal God. God has sent. Sent meaning sending from one realm to another, but God is infinite. It makes no sense to talk about God sending something from one place to another. His Son and God, those words in that sentence refer to substances, different substances, but God is not a substance. The sentence makes no sense unless you understand it is symbolic, and it's symbols that connect us to a dimension beyond ourselves. There are many levels to reality. Scientific and rational language speaks to certain levels of reality, but religion is about symbolism. God has sent his Son, connects what our role is in the universe to something greater beyond ourselves. It's a symbol. Oh, this little parable. It reminds us of these treasures in life. And I want you to remember that you aren't just a person, you are a symbol as well. A symbol of God's love, a symbol of the potential in this universe. Oh, this little parable. It too is a treasure.
the sound that saved us all like me. His mercy's everlasting, His truth in yours, and He set His Son to set me free. I know the Lord will make a way. I know the Lord will make a way. Oh yes, if you trust and never doubt, He will bring you out. I know the Lord will make. I know the Lord will make.
A familiar, fun childhood game is hide and seek. We try to hide where no one can find us while someone else is searching all around for us. Well, sometimes as we grow older, we continue to play hide and seek with God. We hide or pull away, pretending God cannot see what we are doing or how we may be behaving. Yet God knows exactly where we are. Fortunately, we have a gracious, wonderful God who waits and waits, nudges us, and waits until we are ready to turn toward Him and receive all the treasures of life. For they are not treasures of money or power. They are treasures of peace and hope. It is through prayer we discover this hidden treasure. Let us pray. Lord, you fill us with the richness of fellowship, family, friends, and hope. You hear our prayers, you search our hearts, and you find goodness buried within each of us. How blessed are we who know your grace and extend it to others. How wonderful it is to have found the treasure of knowing you, Lord, to know the freedom from the past, to know the hope for the future, and to know that you meet us closely each and every day. Lord, may we take this treasure of grace and share it with the world, to extend love to those who are different from us, to extend hope to those who are lost, and to extend a helping hand to those in need. These are the treasures of heaven you ask us to share, to love unconditionally just as you have loved us, and to pray your prayer for the world. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
The little parable today was talking about a precious treasure. Well, of course, one of our most central treasures is Jesus himself. As you listen to this song, Precious Lord, remember again his love for you, and then go forth and love others.